Bow, bow, bow. I'm back, baby. I'm super exhausted, but I'm back. It may be a short stream, but I'm back. Oh god, I may be contemplating life itself, but I'm back. I'm so tired. Well, it may be a short stream, but we're gonna see what we can get done in the meantime. Cause it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've streamed. It's been a minute since I've been on here. Not all of it my fault. Some of it is just me being sick. Some of it was me taking care of family, and another bit of it was sick, taking care of family, and work. And work is also the reason I am exhausted today. But I'm up in another stream. Sorry, give me 1 second. Echo me. That's why. Yep. Okay, cool. So let's see where the hell we were at. That. All right. Where were we with this game, huh? Who remembers? Does the class remember? I don't. I honestly. I believe we're doing the keyboard, and it's not updating for some reason. And the reason is invalid type of function play on anime in base anime player cannot convert one from array to string name. For whatever reason, we're not able to convert this to a string name. What are we trying to do? We're trying to play an animation at trying to play an animation, but rather than calling one particular animation, we're trying to call which one it is in the array of animations. So that's what we're trying to do. What will actually happen, I don't know. So this is the error. And likely we're going to see the same error for player 2. So I'm just going to go step by step here. Anime player 1 is the animation player that is attached to the keyboard, is right here. And gotta go slow to go fast. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So then we're saying play. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. Good to see you, and Noel. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I was saying before, I was out of commission because I was sick. I was taking care of my family and then work. And then today, I just had a super long day with work, and my fridge broke down, so it's been crazy. So, but good to see you. How's the wife? I was gonna say wife and kids, but how's the wife? Just because that's a common nomenclature, I suppose. Be like, oh, it's the wife and kids. She is well, awesome. Cool. Are you all set up for Dragon Con? I'm still super excited about it, and I still need to get everything. I mean, it's months from now, but I don't want to take that for granted. Like, I already feel like the hotels are booked as it is, so. From what I talked to a couple of people, I was like, oh shit, okay, so this is. Just because I haven't heard of Dragon Con before, and there's so many conventions, but I did not realize, evidently, the con that you and your wife have been going to for years is pretty big. I'm not packed and have no ideas for new outfits yet. Gotcha. Do you and your wife buy new outfits for the trip? That sounds awesome. Or is it like, do you guys buy geeky outfits, or is it just like outfits for, you know, general vacation, or our vacation of the year? We're playing an animation, which we can do on animation player. So that's right. That part's right. Where does it trip up? Alright, it said something. I should have just reread the error. I understood exactly what the thing. Okay. Competing music will stop in a moment. Right? Shoot. Did I lose the error? Okay, my bad. Let me stop the music so then I can. There isn't a competing BPMs, which can be a little disorienting for myself, especially. So we're trying to convert this, which is a number, into a string. Say play a number. That playing a number also doesn't seem like it makes sense. It seems like we would have to reference the array. So I think this is wrong. I think we should reference not the animation player itself, but the list that we have. Oop. Oh yeah, it's one of the largest cons in the world. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought like, oh, this is a cute con that you both go to. You know, it's like I just thought it was smaller. I have no idea why, especially it being in Atlanta. I have no idea why I thought that. That was silly. But yeah. Costumes, yeah. We often buy a new shirt or so far. Yeah, I bought a Dragon Con shirt in case this ends up being an annual thing, and then if not, it's just a souvenir. That wasn't like super expensive because I can't bring a sword on a plane, unfortunately. But anyway, okay. But I thought no, that was last year or one of the years that you went as the scientist from Final Fantasy. Um, Gotcha. Okay, so do you guys do couple outfits? Is it like, or you both do your own individual thing? Um, Mostly just trying to figure out costume. Though I've had a number of years where I didn't wear a costume at all. Yeah, which makes sense. Especially like I even thought about it for my first one. I was like, do I want to wear a costume? We'll see. I think that the concept of going as Usopp is cool, but I get not wearing a costume. It seems like it's effort. You know, it's a little project. So totally get that. So yeah, we're referencing the wrong thing. We shouldn't be referencing the animation player. We should be referencing the list of animations. So that's wrong. We should say play. Yeah, exactly what we're doing here. Basically taking this exact line, almost exact line. We have done sort of matching sets. The best yet, Spy versus Spy. Why does that sound so familiar? I'm getting like two anteaters. I'm not sure if that's right. Yeah, I'm right. Okay. Wordless comic on Man magazine. Gotcha. Yeah, I recognize. I mean, I don't think I've ever read a single comic strip or played the video game, but I was like, they're and kudos to them. I mean, they're so iconic that I just knew it when I've never interacted with the medium whatsoever. I was just like two anteaters. I just remember that. Yeah. Surprised. I've always been a comic book person. I'm surprised I've never read any of these espionage murder. Funny, but funny. Oh, that's the concept of this. It's like there should be more games about this. I feel that immediately. Username, that's good. How are you? It's going. I'm doing well. I'm a little tired, but we're getting at it. We're getting at it. Um, the first Spy versus Spy video game I played, I'm mostly sure it predated. I don't think it predated me. Let's see. Video game 2005. I was 2005. I was 10. I was 10 years old. Um, so it didn't predate me, but I couldn't. I definitely couldn't buy it for myself. PlayStation 2. Yeah, I'm sure I played this eventually. Yeah. Actually, no. The first Spy versus Spy is 1984. That definitely predated me. I say definitely, like it wasn't a couple years, like 10 years. But either way, no older. Yeah, exactly. Um, evening username. It's so funny to address you as username, but it's such, I don't. It's one of those things that forever tickles me. I'm so happy every time I get you pop in because this is like such a up to the evening. Just to read your name is so great. I just love like like people will name their Wi-Fi routers or Wi-Fi am I right? Routers? Yeah, it's not modem. Routers. Like something witty, but having a witty username is just really good. I forever love it. I'm doing good. I just got a game called Forgive Me Father 2. Let's quickly check that out. What made you get that game? Because I know you recently got I recently got Diablo because I have a problem. I hate myself. But let me look up what you mentioned. Yeah, what made you get Forgive? I've never even heard of the first one. Forgive Me Father. Art style 100%. It's always good to hear, especially as you know we're both in. All of us are aspiring game developers to some extent. So to hear like what made you buy this game, for it to be art style, basically just art style. Okay, now let's look it up and see. Forgive Me. There it is. Looks like monochromatic. Oh, dude. Fuck yeah.
Is it even possible to forgive something like this?
Whoa. Cell shaded 2D, 3D type of thing. It reminds me of that that game that's coming out. It's probably on my wish list. We'll come right back to it. Can I open up another tab? No. All right. Well, this looks awesome, and it reminds me of should add it to my wish list. Shit. I go back.
Was it all a dream?
Wish list. $15.
Really my fault?
If you know, if I had saw this, I wouldn't have bought Diablo. Not that I have anything directly against Diablo. I just have something against Blizzard. But this reminds me of. Let's see if it's on my wish list. I'm 90% sure it's on my wish list. Where is it? Dang it. It's there it is. Mouse PI for hire. Hasn't come out yet, but looks really good, and it has that similar thing that you just showed me with the 2D sprites in a 3D space, which I love. I love that style. Such a cool mix. Go for Path of Exile versus Diablo. You're saying Path of Exile is greater than Diablo? I probably believe you. I got talked into getting Diablo. So I was like, all right, let me give it Boomer Shooter. There's an oh yeah, Boomer Shooter is there's another game that I really liked called Fallen Aces. Again, I like Path of Exile versus Diablo. At least versus Diablo 3. I haven't played 4. Yeah, I haven't. This will be the first Diablo game I get into, which is why this person talked me into getting it, because they were like, oh my god, you've never played Diablo before? This is the perfect one for you to play. And there's a Steam sale, so I was like, all right. But I tell you what, if I had seen Forgive Me Father 2, I would have went with that. And Path of Exile, I've heard great things about as well. Get out of here, Diablo. I'm already mad at it, and I haven't played a single hour. Path of Exile 2. Yeah, again, I've heard great things. Oh, the first one's free. And it's an action RPG. Yeah, if I had seen that, is this also on sale? No, it's not on sale, but.
The mountain born, with spear and cunning.
But similar top-down viewpoint. Okay, well that was not the best trailer for me to click on.
Existence is a thing of beauty, precious, but impermanent. Life and death are mortal enemies, and yet bound to one another.
Creepy cool, and so good compelling. Wait, there we go. There's gameplay. So yeah, similar top-down fashion, very similar to Diablo, but again, I've heard no controversy about Path of Exile. Personally, I haven't heard anything negative, and I have heard plenty of negative things about. I won't say about Diablo 4. I've heard good things about Diablo 4, but I've heard nothing but negative things about Blizzard from people that have worked there, as well as fans that have played the game for years. But that's where I'm at. Yeah, yeah. First game is free. Path of Exile 2 is paid, but really just for early access. Gotcha. You only buy Path of Exile 2 if you want to support the devs. Well, I mean, and as we should, as developers should support developers. Um, how much is this? Not the fucking big ass pack. That's crazy. Supporter pack. There we go. Literally even says it like that. So 2, and that's $30. Okay. Okay. Still fleshing it out. The first top-down game I ever played was Hades, and that because I never thought I would be into this perspective, but it's really good actually. It's a cool what you're able to do with like level design from this standpoint, as well as being able to expose yourself to or expose the player to so much of the scenery at once. Uh, like it's a cool way to be artistic, if you will, about like displaying the beauty of the scene while you're constantly dashing and dodging throughout it. Um, they have said that Path of Exile 2 would be free like the first game on release. Okay, all right, well, cool. Yeah, I mean, and if it's maybe I'll play Path of Exile 1, and if it's good, then I'll buy the supporter pack so that way, um, why early access I think is just a smart way to go for developers, especially what grinding gear games. I haven't heard of this particular development team before. Okay, so they're just known for Path of Exile. So yeah, I think early access is definitely the way to go, so you can get that feedback and play testing early, especially for people that already are willing to dish out $30 to support you. I think that's a win-win. I think that's early access is the way to go for indies in general, in my opinion. I mean, I guess there's some games where you can't really do that, but I think it's a good way to go. Um, I played OG Diablo and Divinity series games. Yeah, I haven't played. I haven't played Diablo ever, and Divinity. I think I've heard of, but I don't think I've played either. Divinity. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't played it. It's also on sale. Somebody. Oh, by Lariat. I swear to God, if I had seen this game before I bought Diablo. Damn it. By Lariat? I know you make good games, so I don't even need to really question this. Aside from the overwhelmingly positive reviews, / very positive reviews. Damn it. Well, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. A username that's good, you didn't make a mistake. You bought a really cool artistic game that forgive. Yeah, it looks really great. Come on. Looks great, and let me also see the developer. Fuck the publisher, respectfully. Oh, cool. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So kudos to you. You're supporting a developer who has made 3 published Steam games, and they look good. I mean, very positive for the first game. Second game, very positive. You love the art style. Boomer shooters are also super fun. Speaking of boomer shooters, another thing I got was Doom, but that's because it was it was super cheap right now. It's stupid price. And I was like, well, I haven't played Doom before, at least not this version of Doom. Or it's $2. So I was like, I'll get that. I haven't played the newest one. I haven't played it since it did not look like this at all. Divinity, Divine Divinity, Beyond Divine Divinity 2 were all action games like Diablo. Original Sin, they went more RPG. Okay, I did not know that about Lariat. Um, yeah, they really came to the scene for me with obviously Baldur's Gate 3. So I should go through their catalog, and that's something I want to do too. Is go through particular developers that I love and go through their catalog, like Supergiant Games. I love them as a studio. I would love to go play through their whole archive. Um, and then Lariat would be another great example. Bethesda, basically done, um, except for Indiana Jones. I heard great things about. Not what the hell is that game? Sky something called Skyrim. All right, whatever. Their newest art venture into RPGs that was largely disappointing. The game is very hard, but still fun. I love hard games. Another game I recently got into is Elden Ring. So I don't think I can think the way I relax is through stress. Like I love weightlifting and I love Elden Ring. It's just there's something satisfying about choosing to do something hard, and it's enjoyable. It's probably why I also like game development. Yeah, $2, literally $2, and no, yeah. So I was like, might as well. I was looking for some other games because a username that's good. You were talking about another game that you got recently. I forgot what it was. It was like a really, I think it was like a famous indie game. I forgot what it was, but I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't gotten a new game in a while, so I have mixed feelings on Bethesda, respectfully. I respect a lot of their games, but I've never been a fan of their newer games. Last one I dumped a lot of time into was Morrowind. Yeah, I haven't played Morrowind. Papers, Please. Yeah, I think it was Papers, Please. A username that's good. Um, yeah, Fallout 3, really quick. You know, but again, out of respect, because I thought Bethesda was the best game studio in the world for a while. I was like, nobody has anything on Bethesda. Bethesda just makes hit after hit after hit. And that was after I went from Oblivion, and then it was after somebody introduced me to Oblivion. Shout out to Kyle in my in school. I was in homeroom, and he was like, "Hey, I think you would love this game, and let me borrow it." Shout out to Kyle. Sorry, partially responsible for my game dev journey. Loved Oblivion, and then like 2 or 3 years later, Skyrim came out, and then I played. Was that also them? Did they also do Mass Effect? I don't know. I don't think they did Mass Effect, but I love Fallout New Vegas, obviously, in my library. Oh, I didn't even know I had the DLC for this. I should play that. I should play it. I had no idea. I had all this DLC for New Vegas. That makes sense that I would do that, but yeah. So good. Now I don't agree with it, but I won't hold it against you. You to be wrong. No, Mass Effect was Bioware. Wait, which one don't you agree with? My bad. I missed it. I was on a rant. Yeah, Bioware is what I was mixing that up with, not Bethesda. Which one did you didn't like Skyrim, or you didn't like Oblivion? I never played Morrowind. By the time by the time I got Oblivion, I was like, Morrowind looks dated, so I didn't want it. Bethesda being, oh no, it's not the best studio ever. It's not. I'm saying when I was a kid, when I was younger, that's what I thought. When I was younger, again, the very first game I ever played by Bethesda was Oblivion, and then after Oblivion, I played Skyrim, and then after Skyrim, I played Fallout 3, and then I played Fallout New Vegas, and then I played Fallout 4. Fallout 4 was obviously the weakest of the bunch, but after that was my introduction. That's why I thought when I was younger, not today. I do not like the games they put out today, but before, oh my god, this whole pack of Quake, which I never played. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, my introduction to Bethesda when I was like 16 was Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. So I thought at that time they are the best studio. They are like I just loved it. Nobody hit like those games when I was a kid. Um, Fallout 4 is a walking simulator compared to the other Fallouts. Yeah, I'm not a not a huge fan. I did kind of like the settlement buildings aspect. They could have used that in the story. Like they didn't properly use it in my opinion. But yeah, I oddly didn't care for Skyrim as much as Oblivion. That's an interesting take. Um, and I didn't like it as much as Morrowind. Oh, though I wonder if part of that is my age as the game came. Yeah, that is something I really almost want to do a video essay on. Is that I don't think enough people talk about that. Where like a game may be unbelievably like my favorite Bethesda game is Oblivion, and the reason it is my favorite game is because when I was a kid, I could play it. I think my kid just snuck out, so give me a second. Be right back. Yeah, and no, you called it exactly. It just got riled up while talking, and she got up. But um, I told her I'm working, and she was like, "Okay, I want to sleep in your bed." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't see what one has to do with the other, but fine, because I'm working. I should sleep in your bed. I don't know, but I let her rock. It's gonna be easier to wake her up in the morning that way. Um, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, really good games overall. And then again, it really just started to fall off. And now I'm curious, and I know this is off topic, but what would be a stream with us if we didn't get off topic? Yeah, I loved Oblivion. Again, what we were talking about before is like how, depending on what age you were or what time a game hit you, how impactful it was. And Oblivion was just that for me. It was the very first time ever I played an open world game. I didn't know what open world games were until Oblivion, and it blew my mind. The same with Skyrim. But yeah, never played Morrowind. Never played Morrowind. Maybe if they did and maybe they have already, like a graphic overhaul. I would buy it, but like I just feel like I'm gonna look at it and like, I mean, even with Skyrim, I'm like, ugh, this looks old. And now looking at this, it's like Skyrim is not too much more advanced than this, honestly. Topic? Topic. Oh, like I played the early. I just now understood what you were saying. Sorry. I played the early Final Fantasy games. My favorite was, I think, Final Fantasy VI. My favorite was, I think, Final Fantasy VII. Back on the. Let me make sure I'm right on that. Was it Advance? I think it was. Final Fantasy Game Boy Advance, I should say. What game was that? It wasn't Tactics. There was another game. Oh, this is Game Boy Advance in general. Maybe it was Tactics then. I don't know. I don't remember now which one was my favorite. 7 was PS1. Okay, so maybe it was 7. Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah, because that was the first console that my family got that we actually owned. Not the other one was I think a Sega, old school Sega, and that was my uncle's. And then the first console that we kids, my cousins and I, owned was the PlayStation 1. So that makes sense that it would be Final Fantasy VII PlayStation 1. Yeah, Final Fantasies are just incredible. And also to find out their backstory of, it being titled Final Fantasy was because the studio was going to close, and then they get 7 more, and then remasters and blah 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 blah. So it's really one of those things that's incredible that it kept going. Final Fantasy games got ported in Game Boy Advance would have been Final Fantasy 4 and 6 to make it more confusing. Those were rebranded as Final Fantasy 2 and 3. Very confusing in the US because many of the Final Fantasy games weren't translated for a long time. Gotcha. And that makes sense. Honestly. Especially, I remember I was talking to a kid recently, and they were a little older than my kids, so I think they were like 6 or 7, and I was talking to them about anime, and the way that they talked about anime was like, man, we didn't have an option to do dubbed for a long time. Like, that just didn't exist. You just had to deal with sub on a shady website that probably made your computer a botnet, a member of the botnet. Like, it was a completely different time. And I think, again, same thing with the porting of, I think, Japanese content in general into America. Like, it just wasn't popular the way it is now. Same thing with anime. Like, there's anime songs and shirts and things like that. But, like, in the 90s, early 2000s, no. But a username that's new, you probably know nothing about that. This has always been a super inclusive time for you. Super anime and video game, just being popular culture, was not how I grew up. It was just like a nerdy thing to do. I mean, I guess it still is a nerdy thing to do if you ask the women I've dated. But that is why in the US we jumped from Final Fantasy 3 to 7. Gotcha. That makes more sense as far as like, well, we can't port them. So to you, this is this one, and to the rest of the world, it's not. This is gonna be your first, and this is gonna be your second, which again makes sense. Oops, nope, that's not what I'm trying to do. Great, another great game, but Final Fantasy 3 in the US was actually Final Fantasy 6 in Japan, annoyingly. Yeah, I really love how America refuses to acknowledge other. I mean, I understand it as far as the timing of everything and everything, but like, they seem oddly stubborn about like we're not gonna do like, well, it's not gonna make sense. They're gonna want the other ones that are only available in Japan. And it's like, well, then they're only available in Japan, and people could pirate them. Why do you have to change the name, especially when the name in the like is you're changing the name when the name is an indication of the sequential steps of the game. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's one thing to call Final Fantasy, I don't know, which you shouldn't either way. Change it from Final Fantasy to Final 6. Still would have been weird, but more understandable. To change the number boggles my mind in a way I don't like. America decides to make number confusing in all ways. Yeah. I remember learning about in science. I really loved science growing up, and hence computer science. But we were doing in our woodshop class and in the chemistry class I had, we were measuring things, milliliters, liters, meters, centimeters, and yards. That's like how we were measuring things. And I was just like, if the rest of the world is doing this, why aren't we doing it? And I remember my teacher looking up from his desk and being like, America's weird. And then just going back to his work. And I was like, all right, that's a overly simplistic explanation. But no, that's actually, America's fucking weird. We're weird. Like, I love this country, and it's just such a weird country. Like, it's like, we are unbelievable geniuses and absolute dumbasses at the same time. It's frustrating. Well, if with Final Fantasy games that have Square that reordered them as part of their process to bring them west. Final Fantasy 2 and 3 didn't port to the US, so when they brought 4 over, they just made it Final Fantasy 2 for the US. Okay, I also get that from a... Now I'm also understanding it a little bit more from a marketing standpoint, if you will, because it's like no other one exists yet. So obviously this is the second, or only one exists to the US base. So to be like, oh no, this is this, and then it's like a whole explanation versus this is the first one you guys got as a country, here's the second one. That makes more sense from just a marketing standpoint now that I'm saying it out loud. So I'm less mad at it. I'm less mad at it. Yeah, no, that makes more sense now. I'm not mad at it anymore. I was, but like, because America can be weird, like, let's be real. But I'm less mad. I'm less mad now. Really, really good. Oh, Bethesda, how I miss you. How far you've fallen. I mean, I heard great things about the Indiana Jones game, to be fair. I heard nothing but great things about this game. I didn't even know they made a Doom. Oh, and it's like, oh, it hasn't released yet. And it's like in the past. Oh. $70. Kiss my fucking ass, man. I do hate that I'm probably gonna buy this. Probably won't buy it for $70. Otherwise, I would have bought Monster Hunter by now. But looks good. I'm not gonna lie. And they skipped porting 5. Then when we did port 6, that made 6 the 3rd. And yeah, no, okay, yeah, that makes complete sense now. I'm really not mad at it. But thank you for explaining it, because I was just like, there's certain things America does that it pisses me off, because I'm like, you're so smart, why are you being so dumb? Like, like, I have that relationship with America where I'm like, God, like a disappointed child or a disappointed parent. It's like, you're so smart, why are you doing dumb things? But no, that actually makes sense. Doom, the Dark Age looks really good. Yeah, However, that price is nasty. Yeah, $70 games. I hope we as a culture just stop a buy. I mean, we're not going to. Unfortunately, it's that whole Netflix password sharing thing, where if people keep buying $70 games, they're gonna keep selling it for $70. Which you guys, if we all collectively never bought a $70 game, they would just stop doing that. They'd be like, okay, I guess the $60 then. But some asshole, some exec asshole pushed, we're gonna sell $70 games, and then everyone was like, well, we would be stupid not to sell $70 game, except for Nintendo. That was like $60. And they respect Nintendo for that. Yeah, I will want the new Doom when it comes out. I'll likely cave and pay for it. Yeah, I thought the same thing with Monster Hunter World. I was like, I'm probably gonna pay $70 for this game, even though I don't want to. But I've stayed strong. So if you cave, no judgment. I get it. It looks really good. Let me actually look at a trailer, because I haven't. I just now found out that this existed. Not know this was a thing. Back up, back up, back up. Sit back up. Back up, bitch. Calling a trailer a bitch is wild. Alright. I love that shield. I love a shield. You know, Captain America, you know? Oh, cool. That soundtrack goes hard, as always. Seems like more story oriented than I'm used to Doom being. Which could not be a problem, or it could be a problem, because Doom is really mindless fun. I think that's what it should be. Oh, it looks pretty good. Just wait till the summer sale. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, a whole Transformer, dude? Or not Transformer, but like a whole mech is awesome. A mech is fucking awesome, and that alone is probably why I'm gonna cave and buy it. It's the shield, the mech, and you know, the classic mindless, awesome, fucking testosterone-filled fun. Like, I think the circle for, like, the Venn diagram for Doom and the Venn diagram for Warhammer is like the same circle. The base price doesn't bother me. What annoys me. Oh wait. What annoys me is the super version and DLC. Super version. What the fuck is a super version? Oh, $99. Jesus Christ, with the $99. What even comes in the 99? But back in the day, which is not even long ago, I'm not like super old, but back in the day, if you were selling something for $100, it came with a statue, or like it came with something cool. Like you would buy it and it would come with like a little figurine and like a CD of the soundtrack or something. But we're in the digital age, so like, what are you giving that's 2 days in advance? Is that it? Starts in approximately 7 weeks. It's just early access? This is a major studio, Bethesda. And id Software. They don't need your money. This isn't like supporting developers. This is a cash grab. Block. I spit on you. Kapooey, I say. Kapooey, I say. I'm pretty sure the timeline in the Dark Ages before. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be before. Going to have an old man moment. Back in my day, well, they just released the new next version of the game, or at most an expansion, which often doubled the content. Premium, deluxe, ultra, pre-order, whatever. Back in my day, they just released the next version of the game, or at most an expansion. Yeah, I'm okay. Like I'm okay. I've honestly grown completely fine with DLCs. DLCs are fine. This bullshit, $100 for early access is dumb. If that's the only thing you get out of this, that's dumb. Oh wait, pre-order. Let me see the pre-order bonuses. A skin? No, that's dumb. Dumb. Campaign. Oh, that's the premium edition that we were talking about. Hold on. Is this the premium edition? No, this is advanced. Not even premium. I don't even know what the premium hash or the price tag is. It doesn't even say it. Not a good sign. Here you go. A couple skins, DLC, early access, digital art book. I fucking hate a digital art book. I really do. And the soundtrack. I really wish they would give it physically. For the price point that they're selling stuff at, they should do physical. DLC availability to be provided at a later date. So we don't even know what the DLC is going to be, but you're charging for it before you even made it. I don't think you should buy DLC before they publish anything about it. That is buying something you don't even know if you want. I don't like that. Starfield, thank you, username. That's exactly what I was super disappointed in. Starfield. I was so disappointed because I was like, oh well, you made Fallout, so Fallout in space sounds cool, and I'm sure you guys advanced on the formula, right? Right? And no, not at all. Not at all. I'm very disappointed in Starfield. I really thought it was gonna be something great. What is this? I wouldn't be surprised if it's mostly negatives or mixed. Okay, well that's better than I thought it would be doing, honestly. Speaking versus tiny DLCs, speaking versus tiny DLCs or pre-orders and little things. Yeah, that kind of stuff. But yeah, and as it should. I really think that us as consumers, we need to be smarter and not like. Here's my thing. It's one of those things of like this is also partially not on us, like the people in the chat. It's not on us, but it's on the gamer culture as a whole that they're even fucking selling something that's over $100 because we're just talking about just to play the game in advance is $100 just to do that, and maybe I think I said a couple skins. Where is it? Pre-order, yeah. So a new skin, which I guess who cares, especially since in first person, you're not gonna really be able to enjoy most of this unless you get a mod. And then up to 2 days. So at least 2 days in advance. I don't think that's worth it. And then this freaking premium edition, which how much is that? How much is that? Just to piss me off. Just to piss me off. How much is Doom Dark Age? Are you not saying it? Aren't you saying it? This is a premium edition? Okay, so the premium edition is $100. No, the premium. Now this is saying. Okay, I don't know why I have Steam opened up in the browser when I. Whatever. Either way, I hate little things like this. Like I really think like similar to back in what's his name? At Noel's day, like it should be actual content. Like the campaign, but the fact that the game hasn't even come out yet and I don't see anything about the DLC means we shouldn't fucking buy this. But if people spend money on it, they're gonna keep doing this bullshit. So the base value spending that on 1 or 2 games a year, I'm okay with. Yeah, okay, yeah, 70. Okay, I can see that. I absolutely see an argument for that. I do think that games should be $10 cheaper, considering the vast majority of games are digital now, and the fact that the additional $10 of revenue that they're earning. I mean, I'm sure it's not exactly $10 because you got divvy up amongst a bunch of different things. But the additional revenue that they're earning by charging $70 does not go to the people that actually develop and work on these games. 9 times out of 10, We're not talking about super giant, where I would believe that does happen, or I was about to say id Software, but like id Software way back in the day. But we're not talking about an indie. This is a major AAA publisher who's getting more money, and then the developers aren't treated well. I mean, like, how many layoffs have there been this year? I don't know if Bethesda has had a bunch, but I know they had a bunch at least a year or two ago. 100. But it's a little add-ons for another 30 to 40 and 100 that seem crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. That's not even seems. That is objectively crazy. Like, that's, and I truly hate the little, you get a new skin, especially in a first-person game. Like, shut up. You're not gonna see any of this. You're gonna see the shield, sure, but you're not gonna see any of this. I mean, maybe they create a photo mode where you do see it. Fine, I guess, but stupid, 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 in my opinion. I really wish they would go the extra mile, and because most of games are digital, like, make an effort to go to GameStops and put the actual art book physically. Like in the digital age, it makes it hard to own anything. So just getting a digital art book feels stupid when you can actually physically own something. You know, barely own this game. It's running through Steam. If you know, they decide to pull it, you may be shit out of a game. I mean, not that that would happen with like something major like this anytime soon, but you'll see when you walk up. You'll see it when you walk up in the mirror that they put in the games just so you can see it. Wait. You'll see it when you walk up to the mirror that they put it in the games just so you can. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Players can't see their whole body in this. And it's like, well, reflective water. I was like, okay, well, that has to be a quota in the level design, so that way we can justify this. Like, fucking assholes. Yeah, the armor, exactly. Yeah, I see it in the fucking. Well, you see it in the pool of blood. Look, you can see it. And it's like, most of the time you're not seeing it though. The vast, like, not seeing it there, not there. Most of the time you're not gonna see it. You're just gonna see it in cutscenes. Yeah. Oh man. Again, the mech is really what got me, to be honest. This was the selling point for me, and I love a Captain American shield. I really do. I mean, who doesn't? I would love to have create that as a game mechanic in one of my games, because I just love a shield. I love a shield. Yeah, cutscenes, exactly. They would do it in cutscenes where you would see it. Um, yeah. That's why in Spider-Man 2 they made it so that way, because normally, right, if you're playing through the campaign and you're wearing a particular suit that doesn't make sense at all for the setting, they would switch you to a suit that makes sense. But in the latest Spider-Man game, you can wear whatever suit you want, and I think a large deal to do with that, even though if it doesn't make sense for the story, is to justify it, to be like, well, we sold people a bunch of different suits, most of which, can we talk about it, are horrible. Spider-Man 2 suits. Most of them suck. Okay, that was a bad idea. Let me do this. Okay, well, you're not gonna get credit for the ones that are in the game. A lot of the ones that came in the base game are solid. Solid. Base game, solid. Base game, solid. I'm trying to get to the DLC ones, because those are the ones, like, most of them suck. All these are good. Means all of them were in the base game. Where's those stupid DLC costumes? Stupid DLC costumes. Where are you? Let me do that. Spider. Oh wait, you know what? It's all here. Let me not be impatient. Let me actually look through. Again, all the base game ones I fuck with heavy. I love Miles' Wakanda suit. I love the Bodega suit. I absolutely love the Bodega suit. I rock this one like all the time. The little cat, adorable cat. The Spider-Verse suits, great. What the hell is this DLC? Surprised by how many there are. I know the DLC ones sucked. Who decided to put skins in a single player game? And I don't know. Some executive. But I also get it because as somebody that loves Spider-Man, absolutely loves Spider-Man, I want more costumes. Am I willing to pay for them? Not really. But as somebody that you see, all right, horrible suits. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? What the hell is that? What the hell is this? Ridiculous. Not even talking about the rest of the suit, which isn't great, but this is so dumb. Hate it with a passion. Oh, I actually like this suit. It's a really solid suit. I like that one too. Alright, well, now I don't like that one. Stone Monkey. I don't like that one. Like they should be okay. That one makes sense. They should be homages to the comics. That's what they should be, respectfully. And yeah, either way, I just don't. Yeah, I don't agree with the idea of skins. Stupid. Stop putting his fucking hair out. The whole idea of Spider-Man is that it could be anybody, but if you show their flippin' hair, it can't be anybody now, can it? Ah, God, I hate that. I hate it so much. What the fuck is this? What is this? What is this, dude? What is this 90s throw up garbage? All right, I'm done. I'm done. I just oh my, what the fuck is this? Is he wearing a head? I hate this so much. I get it off my screen. Get it off my screen. I'm not wrong though, Dab Studio. I'm not wrong. Like, what the fuck is this costume? What is? Stop it! This 90s nonsense is stupid. And the fact that people had to pay to get this suit, dumb. Dumb. What was their obsession with exposing his hair? What the is that? Anyway, I was just. Who put the bowling alley carpet? Exactly! It's exactly that! It's exactly that, though! It is the bowling room carpet! It's literally that! You hit it perfectly. It is literally the carpet of a bowling alley. Jesus Christ. So bad. They're like, yeah, this is a good idea. This would be cool. People want to. No! Bad idea. Whoever approved it. Bad. Stupid. Unbelievably stupid. Sunglasses? Stupid. Just, ugh. What the fuck is this, too? Is this Spider-Man with a motorcycle helmet? What are we doing? See, I don't like that they mixed in the good suits with the bad suits. What is this suit? What is this? Anyway, like, I think I made my point that, like, to a username that's good point, like, why are skins in a DLC in a single player game? And if they are, it's to make the vast majority of them free. Which I guess they did, respectfully. It's just so many bad suits that annoy me that somebody was like, I'm gonna pay for all the suits, and then most of them are garbage. Anyway, in my opinion, right? What do I know? I'm just been a fan of Spider-Man for a very long time, and I just don't like seeing Spider-Man in bowling alley carpet for a costume. That bothers me. Um, exactly. And Dub Studio, exactly the same point. The kids really like this one's hip. Exactly. Exactly. They'll like it. They'll dab their way into this costume or whatever. I don't even know what the kids are saying to even mimic. I feel like dab, like that was like when I was in high school, not like not whatever kids are saying now. I don't know. Anyway, flying fresh. It's not. It's not. Even for a '90s costume, you could have done better. This is weird. Motherfucker has a fanny pack on. I'm so mad. All right, I gotta get this off my screen. I have to. Oh. Oh my god, that bothered me so much. Okay. Oh. That's because we know the real Spider-Man. Yeah, right. And Spider, it's and if you're gonna do a variation of Spider-Man, do it respectfully. Do it cool. Do it from a comic way back in the day. Do it like from a it should be from the comics. The comics have existed forever. There's so many comics that you haven't touched on. The fact that you want to pull fucking this bullshit out is dumb. What the fuck is this costume? I hate every bit of this. Every bit. This fucking sneakers, all of it. Hate it. I hate it with a passion. Stupid. Oh, so stupid. And I understand why this is, right? It was tied to a storyline with Miles and him discovering the significance of like Puerto Rican and black culture within music. I get that part. That storyline was cool. I respected it. I learned a little bit about history. That's cool. This is stupid. This costume is stupid. Anyway. So many different ones, yeah. You don't need to know what they say. Just pull up the Oxford Dictionary and open any page. Can be a slang term, right? Oh, kids these days. I don't know. I'm just getting older, I guess. What the fuck is this? I don't know, man. I don't know. But I think I'm just going to get to a certain point where I'm similar to Star Wars, where I'm like, okay, so they're just not doing what my childhood is anymore. My childhood, I'm just going to, is its own thing, and they're just doing whatever they want with this IP that I love. It's not my IP anymore. It's fine. They're doing their own stupid ass thing. Do your own stupid ass thing. I'll just stick to him what I got. Though Clone Wars was amazing. I also like Star Wars Rebels. That was like the last two things I actually enjoyed that Star Wars pushed out. I bet Peter does too. Yeah, my friend. Yeah. Right. And no, you've it was even closer for you because it was coming out. Star Wars was coming out by the time you got into it. Or no, yeah, Star Wars was coming. You were into like it was already in popular culture. Like it was a part of culture when Star Wars came out. Like that's incredible that you were a part of that and went to the theater to see Star Wars. Like this, if I could the time machine, I would love to go to a premiere of what was the first one? God, Empire Strikes Back? No, I don't think that was the first one. But oh, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. But yeah, the fact that you grew up with it is one thing. Like my very first Star Wars was now I'm mixing up Lord of the Rings with Star Wars. A New Hope, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is A New Hope. New Hope. I'm 90% sure you're right. Yeah. Oh no, wait. Yes. Because I think this is the first one. Attack of the Clones. Is it Attack of the Clones? I think this was the very first one I saw. It was Anakin grown up. When did this come out? Yes, yeah, for sure. This was the very first Star Wars movie I saw, and then I was like, amazing. And then I forgot who it was. I think it was my uncle that was like, you think that was good? That wasn't even good. You should see the ones before it." And I was like, "There's more," and it changed my life forever. And then Disney bought Star Wars, and then everything started going weird. I do love Rebels. I love Rebels, and I love Clone Wars, the animated series. Those are solid. They did such a great job with those. Everything else, they largely fucked up. I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, but I did watch The Mandalorian. I heard good things about The Mandalorian. I couldn't really get into it. I watched a little bit of it, and I was like, ah. The Bill Burr scene, though, I love comedy. Bill Burr's scene in The Mandalorian, oh, mwah. Like, it's like, if you could have made that the whole thing, whoever wrote that should have wrote more Star Wars. Like, that was such a great scene. Yes, the cartoon was so good. I was so surprised by how good it was. They even did a really cool thing of making Ahsoka deliberately annoying and then having her become a badass who redeemed herself and tried to connect with her master. Like, they did such a great job with it. But I think that's largely Dave Filoni. I think cartoon worked on that. Who worked on that? Obviously, George Lucas. Get out of here. Okay, well, I need the writer or lead writer. No, don't save that. Writer. Okay, the fact that this whole first page of the IMDb doesn't credit the writer is honestly annoying. Like, who cares about the vast majority of this? I guess other people. It's like, how good can something be if it's? I would rate this a 9, but I mean 8.4 is a pretty solid score. This is so good. Maybe I'll rewatch it. All right. Anyway, we went on 10 different tangents. So solid. Such a good series. Honestly, Clone Wars is absolutely great. Again, I did like parts of The Mandalorian. Bill Burr's speech was incredible. Incredible. Was worth watching all of The Mandalorian up until that point for that incredible scene. Um, and it's also so funny that Bill Burr is not a Star Wars fan, that he nailed one of the best Star Wars scenes in history. But he's not even a fan of the world. But anyway, that's enough of that. We just, oh my god, look at this stupid thing. All right, anyway, this execs have just a problem with taking something that is beloved and then morphing it into something that we don't recognize. Where I stop identifying as a Star Wars person. Like, if somebody's like, "Do you like Star Wars?" I'm like, "I like Star Trek," and even then, I haven't watched the new ones. Anyway, 10,000 tangents later, here we are. Appreciate your patience with me while we went through this, guys. And went through all these stupid costumes. All right. God, who even knows how we got here? Who even knows? Who even remembers how we got here? I don't even know. All right, here is where we were supposed to be. An hour later. An hour later, we're back. Spy versus Spy. Yeah, which and Noel brought up, yeah. But either way, I think me and Noel were just talking and then got on a bunch of different rants. But that happened. It is what it is. That's the beautiful part of chat, is being introduced to so many different cool things. Cosplay, yes, because we were talking about Dragon Con, yeah. And that branched into so many different things. Final Fantasy, yeah. Which Dragon and Noel and I are going to Dragon Con. And Noel goes every year with their partner, which is awesome, and I want that. For me, I want to go with my wife every year. But yeah, I still need to do the cosplay for it. I think I wrote a list of things I want to do for it. That'll be the last tangent I voluntarily go on. Yeah, I wrote a list, but I still need to get everything together for that. And then if anything, I just don't do a costume, and I just go to panels. A username that's good. You're young, but have you been to a con before? I know you're super young, so I wouldn't. And it makes sense if you haven't. This will actually be my first con, technically. Actually, is Expo considered a con? Another tangent that I'm going on. Or no, not Expo, Evo. Evo. No, it's considered a fighting tournament. So this will be the first con I go to. The first big thing, geeky thing I went to was Evo, but that was for work when I worked for an esports company. So I guess that doesn't really count. Excuse me. Nope. Yeah. Again, you're young. You're young, but I would recommend it when. And sorry, I don't want to give out lore, but yeah, go to cons, meet geeky people. Something I wish I would have done earlier when I was younger is just hanged out with more nerds. I was trying to be cool too much, which is like just trying to be cool in general is too much. Like, stop. You're not cool. Cool, whatever the fuck that is. But it was a different world without the huge online world and social networks. That is how you met people who like the same kind of thing. Right. It's a bit different now. One of my close friends actually met on Bumble. Was it Bumble? It was some friending platform. I think it was Bumble. I think Bumble has now pivoted to just be a dating platform. But I met him, one of my close friends, on a dating app, or a friend app. It was a friend app. I think now it's a dating app. But yeah, I met him and via online because of shared interests. But I would say the relationships I really like that I've shared, I've met geeky people out in public, which I really value. Gotta wash my hair. My hair is bothering me. Alright, sorry. So we were at the error that we encountered, which this was still playing the whole time, so that was needlessly expensive on my system. So there's the breakpoint, and rather than telling the animation player to play, we should. Oh, actually, no, we should. The animation player play, but it should play the list of animations, and specifically the one in the array that is tied to the P1. Bitch. Why? Pull it up. Oh, list of animations, specifically the counter I have for that, which is called. Oh no, that's not it. That's it. There it is. I did finally finish the Brackies 2D Godot. Congratulations, username. That's awesome. And I started on the 3D tutorial. That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you the game that you made? Did you publish it on itch.io? I won't play it publicly on stream, but I'd love to play it if you finish it and publish it on itch, which you should. If you finish a project, I'm a firm believer that even if it's bad, you should publish it on itch. You just get feedback. Because I'm sure you took some creative liberties with it. Okay, alright. Well, alright. That'll come from that. When you do finish it, again, love the support. If you don't even want feedback, I won't give it. I really do think that you should, as much as possible, publish your work. I think that's just a good thing to do. I'm wondering if I guess I would have to do a Wayback Machine on my own itch.io, but I have like really negative, like really negative, angry online comments about some of my old games. But like that was good. It was good to just, in my opinion, just to be like, yo, this fucking sucks, and here's why. It was like, oh, okay, well, that stuff is doable. I can fix that. I can make the colors better. I can make this a little bit smoother. Like it was all things that. What's this, Poach? Which I think he's recently working on a game. This is a website, but I'm pretty sure he recently made a game. Is it this one? Yeah, well, 2024. I guess that's the most recent one. My buddy Tom. I really like this game from Tom. It's like golf, but fighting zombies is really fun. I did have an idea to change the art in it, however, only art program I have is pixel art program on an iPad. Yeah, I mean, I think that as long as you're taking creative liberties to some extent, I think that's what really matters. So that way it's not just copy paste, because I know personally when I started game development, I had a really bad habit of not taking, like just doing exactly what the project told me, which you don't learn that way because basically it's all perfectly outlined for you. But if you take a creative liberty and you're like, oh, I want to make the movement a little weirder, or I think it should look like this, like you learn lessons through your contribution to the material, you know? That's why one of my first game, Knock a Block, which is another game project I would love to come back to, was inspired by one of my favorite pet projects. Was inspired by the very first game I ever made, which was shit. But then Knock a Block, which was a better successor to the very first game I ever made, which is based on the Bracky's tutorial, very first 3D tutorial. So yeah, I mean, just go for it. Whatever it is, even if you fail, fail fast, as it were. Pardon if I sound nasally. Okay, cool. Okay, I don't know why the input stopped working. Okay, wait. It's off. Hold on, it's off. The animation's off. I'm taking an old game and trying to remake. Yeah. Oh, and no, you sent me the project. I got sick. I was like, what happened? I got sick. That's what happened. I was like, I know you sent me it. Still kind of sick, but better. Taking an old game and trying to remake it as close to I can in Godot, having to go back and remake some parts now because I made some bad choices at the start. Isn't that just the way? That is truly just the way. Sometimes you just screw up. Like you're like, oh, if I didn't start it, like I think it was a while ago somebody brought up, it was like, oh, you could have just used the Atlas for this. And I'm like, I'm too far deep at this point to use the Atlas. But you're at the point where you're like, oh, fuck. Now I'm going to have to redo all this because I started off badly. I made a ton of changes since the last version I sent you. Okay. Well, of course you did. Like, Speedy Gonzalez with the code. I would love to. I know you don't stream, but I would love to see your development process. Just because you're a better developer than me, I would love to see your process. It's always cool to see like full pros do it, and you don't really get to fully see it on Twitch because obviously Twitch is largely just you're playing a game or you're making a game, but you're also largely interacting with people, so you don't get to see like the unfiltered version of like a game dev process. Textless Atlas, yeah, exactly. If I had used that earlier, if only I'd used that earlier, I would have been in a better spot. But now I'm here. All right, enough fake crying. Let me see where we're at. So I know this is off, but by how much? It works, okay, and I notice this does not change. This did not change for some reason. And then I press A again and it pulls, so that's wrong. And if I press B, it does not go. Okay, so I'm guessing the value is off by 1 because when we pulled it, nothing happened, and we pulled it again and then it changed. But now the animation is off, but the animation is accurate for where the sprite should be at, if that all makes sense. So, player 1, we just need to change one of the values. Player 2 is broken. Player 2 is broken because we're still saying it in this weird way, when we should say list of animations for player 2, and then you're going to play the P2. I don't remember what the name of the variable was. P2 animation. Yeah, but my game is now has player lives, awesome. A basic UI and some basic stuff. Yeah, you made a lot of progress. What the fuck? Was like, oh, I was out for like a week because I was sick and then work and everything and taking care of family. Because I was like, damn, man, you made a lot. Still, I mean, even still, for a week, being out a week, you made a lot of progress. Sound design, basic UI, and player lives is great. But now I'm rebuilding again how the asteroids are being created in the code. Oh, is that because of the bug that you shared before where it was like something about the naming convention like threw it off as far as like how the asteroids were spawning? I think that was the bug. I don't remember exactly, but I think that was the bug. And then the player 1 value is off. So it's the list of animation that stays the same. It's the animation counter is fine. There we go. So this shouldn't be -1. This should be 0. I think. I think that's right. In an hour? An hour or so? Jesus, yeah. Dude, like, I can't wait, because the more you develop, you're just gonna, I'm gonna be able to be like, well, I was there before Ed Noel hit it big with X title here, because, like, that's a hugely quick turnaround time. Like, my turnaround time is slow. Part of that is because I'm, talking to you guys and streaming, but also, I'm just not as good as, like, you're really good at seeing like the forest through the trees, if you will. Like, you're not bogged down in one particular thing. You're able to see like, oh, because I need this, and this is this, and then it all comes together. From talking to you, it's just way less weeds and way more like clear point A to point B to point C. And it's like, oh, I can't go to point B. Well, now I'll go to C to go to B. Like, you're very simple in that way, in the way that you go about your approach. That is more, I was creating a different scene for every kind of size of the asteroid. Well, that was annoying because making a change to how one works makes me have to go and make the same change to all of them. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, because they right. So they don't. It isn't like a right different kinds and different sizes. So that makes sense. Yeah, because it's not like you can. Well, I don't know what the changes are because I'm like maybe you could just put it into like a class and then have all the asteroids inherit from that class to modify it. But I don't know what the modifications are that you're making to see if that would even make sense to do. So now I'm going to make one scene for an asteroid and loading the different points to draw them in code. Gotcha. Okay. Tasteless. Oh yes, I do remember that. Yeah. Because your brother is a culinary person. Um, I do remember that because we talked about um how they went into the science of it. But yeah, I do remember. Why do you mention it? Did they have like another cool thing? Which again, the idea of tasteless is so interesting to like design that. Yeah, yeah. I remember you bring that up, and I was just like floored by the science of it. And I was like, well, yeah, of course, chef would go into some version of science and biology, but like that sounds obvious, but it didn't click for me. I was just like, you cook, and that's it. And it's like there's more to it. I did find out that the rest of them, it was cold, tingly, spicy, and numbing. Oh yes, the quadrants of your tongue being responsible for different sensory experiences that you feel. Well, sensory experiences would have saying sensory experiences and then saying feel is redundant, so I apologize. But yeah, I know. I think I remember to separate into four quadrants, and then each is responsible for something else. So you're saying cold, tingly, spicy, and numbing. He mixed cold and spicy, and he used a powder of 1.5 million capsaicin. What the fuck is that? Cap Sasanon? Sasanon? I'm sorry if I'm bad at reading. um, Cap Sasanon? Oh, interesting. This is a whole chemical that I would not have known if this is the right thing. Oh, measurement for spicy. Oh, why the hell would he go that spicy? 1.5 million seems excessive. That seems so excessive. Jesus. That's crazy. No. No. Active in chili peppers. Gotcha. What the hell? Did, so he made it. Did you try this? Ridiculously interestingly, also. I wonder how something would be cold and spicy. I guess, what is that green thing that's like available with your sushi? Wasabi. Wasabi is a good example of that. It was meant to be a pure chemical for spicy, but he used too much. It hurts real. Wait, is he experimenting on you and have me like, here's cold, here's this, try it. Scoville scale? Yeah, Scoville scale. I think is it, but like the chemical that of I guess what we taste as spicy is this thing. I'm not going to try to pronounce because I know I'm going to butcher it, but I wonder if Scoville scale is measuring the amount of this chemical that is produced in uh, peppers. I wonder. I don't know. Really don't know. I really don't know. He just walks into my room with a cough, drops of doom, and I love, I love the that's such brother energy to be like, fuck what you're doing, try this. I was like, okay, I love it. That is the ideal of boys will be boys. I love that so much. And I love that it was with a cough. I love that he tried it and was like, "Oh my fuck, my brother's gotta try this." Cold and spicy is such an interesting mix. Again, I think the only thing that is cold and spicy that I can think of is wasabi. That's the only thing I can think of right now. As I understand it, the triggers the receptors that normally trigger from something being hot. Yeah, well, that's interesting. That it doesn't have to be hot, but it can still trigger the reaction. That's so interesting. Just because it's playing with the senses. It's like it's not actually hot, but you're feeling that it is hot. Like that's such an interesting thing. Like we're such interesting mammals, honestly. That we can analyze all of this is so cool. Still gotta fix that volume, but the animation's looking good.
Good. J.
Cool. Wait, L? Why did it end at L? LM. It should end at M. It should end at M. And it also doesn't say who won, which is dumb. Off by one, like literally, yeah. What's interesting is because I think that off by one is. I'll have to figure it out, but it being off by one is. Let me just change it and see and go from there, because I don't understand that. The counter. I originally had this at -1, and I think that's why I had it by -1 so we can reach M. But it being -1 also made it where I had to repeat. I don't know. Let me pull up what you just put in the chat, because I don't know what that is. Oh my god, my congestion is annoying. Yes, it is. I can't breathe. Sorry, guys. Off by one error or off by one bug is a logic error that involves a number that differs from its intended value by one. Off by one error can sometimes appear in mathematical context. It often occurs in computer programs when a loop iterates over one item. I should have used the loop for this, now that I'm thinking about it. Sorry, once I read that, I was like, why aren't I using a while loop? Anyway, iterates one time too many or one time too few. Yeah, off by one error, literally that. I didn't even know there was a name for it. It's cool that it's like such a like a computer science thing of like, yeah, that happens sometimes. So it happens so much so that it's there's a name for it. Learned about it in detail in my first intro to programming class, and I think maybe more people should. I didn't even know. Like again, that's one of the things I do regret. Like as far as, well, I mean, I also majored in communications because I wanted to work for the government. So that was mistake number one. Mistake number two is not sticking with programming and learning more about programming. Because I wish I had a formal environment to learn programming. My programming class just sucked. The teacher was bad. Our homework assignments had nothing to do with what was talked about in class. He was largely talking about the history of computers, and then the homework was programming, which completely different worlds. So it's like, here's the history of computers. Here's practical. I think we were coding in C++, and it's like, why does the class have nothing to do with the homework assignments, and also had nothing to do with the test? So I dropped that class because it was a bad class. But I wish I had formalized programming education. Like more than 20 years ago. At this point, gotcha, yeah. But still, again, I wish I had that formalized programming education. And I love that a username that's good. I love that you're getting that education so early in you know, you're so young to be already experimenting with this stuff. You know, the um, first time I programmed, I would have to look at my very first Instagram post. Because that's the whole reason I even had an Instagram or started an Instagram was to promote game development. Um, 2019. So I started programming and I started game development 6 years ago. But of those 6 years, I only did like 1 year of game development. 2 years, really, where I was focused on it and not like just doing it once in a while as a hobby. Oops, I dropped the chat, so give me 1 second, I can't read it. He used menthol crystals and a powder called Mad Dog 357 yellow cake to make them. Whoa. It is really way more chemistry and chemicals than I thought it would be. Mad Dog 357. It sounds crazy. That sounds crazy, dog. Dog. Oh, it's a whole line of products. Oh. Oh, this is some hot ones too. Cool. Your brother's really working with some elite stuff. Elite kitchen stuff. Menthols would do it. Yeah, give it that minty, cool, cold thing. Yeah, that makes sense. I had to check the name on the bottle of Doom. You got to add yellow cake. Wait, is yellow cake a type of Mad Dog? Hold on. Mad Dog 375 yellow cake to make them. Yellow cake, yeah. You're being named yellow cake is so weird. Oh my god. Due to the extreme nature of these products, please read the discount. Extreme nature? Oh, look at the Scoville 1.6 million. I would never try this. I would absolutely never try this. This looks like you're gonna be on the toilet forever. Cooking is nothing but chemistry when you start to really study it. I mean, that makes sense. A username that's good. Like, really, you're giving me but by the associative property, your brother's really giving me a appreciation for cooking. I mean, I cook and I do like cooking, but I really didn't appreciate the chemical component of all of this. I really did not at all. That's so interesting. Yeah, trying this stuff may put your body into shock and give you a stroke. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, the bottle of doom. Yeah, it sounds like a bottle of doom. I mean, they literally had they were like, here's all the stuff about the product. It's this hot. Also, again, I can't stress enough how extreme this is. Like, this is not regular hot sauce. This is... I don't even know how to describe this. A chemical weapon, essentially. Like, if you put this... If you did this as a prank, I think you could go to jail. Legit. I think you could... If you did this as a prank, and then somebody really got hurt, which if you added, I think, a little bit of this, like one spoonful, you could really hurt somebody. That's what it should say. Yeah, that's what it should say. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I mean, at least there's a skull on it to be like, hey, yeah, death. Bottle of doom. I'm pretty sure if you ate the powder raw, it would be fatal. Yeah, that makes sense. 1000%. I just know in my heart of hearts, there's at least one American stupid teenager or super young adult who experimented with this as a prank and really hurt whomever it was, their girlfriend or their roommate, whoever it was. Like it just feels like you should, I don't know, like have a permit to buy this rather than just being like, I have $17, add the cart. Like oh, I didn't actually mean to click it and add it to my cart. I promise you I will not buy this. I'm sure it would be enough to of a shock that you really could hurt someone. Yeah, especially if you're not expecting it. If you're not expecting it, I would think of like maybe having a heart attack or something. Like experiencing that hot of hot, I would think like I need to go to the hospital immediately. And then I can just see like some stupid kid be like, oh, fucking recording it on their phone. Oh, it's so funny. You weren't expecting that. And it's like, no, dude, it's not cool. Not cool. He only added 0.5. Even 0.5 sounds crazy of this powder, and it kept my mouth burning for 30 minutes. Yeah. I was like, even 0.5 sounds like a little much. Like, it seems like one of those things that it's like, I'm not monetized, but I'll be cautious when saying this because you're young. But there's a cannabis product called Dabs, and it's like this super heavily concentrated THC oil, and it I remember I took it once in college, and I took only like a little bit, and I was gone for like a day. So it reminds me of that. It's like super heavily concentrated spice.
No.
I'm pressing O. Oh, still stuck on N. Off by one error.
No.
Alright, so player 2 is off by 1. It looks like player 1 is set.
Good. J.
Still off by 1. Oh, both of them are off by 1. Shouldn't be 0.5. Shouldn't 0.5 be milligrams. Should have been 0.5 micrograms. Yeah. That's not, again, it sounds crazy, but I love that you and your brother are close enough that he's experimenting and learning and sharing that with you. That's really cool. I love my sister dearly, but we never really bonded over any shared interests. Once when she was into video games, she was into Call of Duty for a while, but then that ended. Back in the golden age of Call of Duty. So player 1 is off by 1, and that is the letter counter, so I think I do need to make this -1. But if I make it -1, it makes it weird. Maybe we will just end that. Let me see, because if this replicates, then I can't do it like that. But then again, this one's off by 1. So this should be 0, and this should be -1. That's what I'm guessing. And I was in my room, so I couldn't spit it out easily without it being a hole in my floor. A hole in my floor. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's so cool though. Again, I love that. I love. It's very brother. I'm guessing he's an older brother because that feels like an older brother thing to do for sure. Yeah, if I make it -1, then it's weird. But iterating it on by 1 is correct. Like it should iterate by 1, but if I make it -1, it repeats. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can fix that. Maybe if I make this. -2. Older brother, yeah. Again, I thought so. I did think so. Yeah, no, that doesn't solve it. Right. I was alright with the original thing. This is truly an off by 1 error. Like, it's one of those things, because I did. Okay, so that works, that works. That works. That works. 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 Still need to address the audio, but that works. 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 Yep. Yep. Yeah, but then if I make it -1, it repeats. And it repeats because it goes from -1 to 0, and then 0 is still considered, I guess, the first letter. I guess. I was thinking of bringing one to school and give it to my friends, but it was just a light brown ball, so I didn't want teachers thinking it was drugs. Oh yeah. Yeah, better safe than sorry for sure. Better safe than sorry for sure. Yeah. Sorry about that. Again, I'm still slightly sick, so oh, it would have been more. It would have been more dangerous than drugs, probably. Right. Well, pending your school, my school had a huge drug problem, huge drug problem. I mean, as kids, and you already sound like a better kid than I was when I was your age. As kids, it was fun that our town had a drug problem, but in retrospect, as a parent, I'm like, this is horrible. But as a kid, it was just like, yeah, party. But no. Yeah, I think you made the right call by not bringing your ball of death or spice of death to school. Maybe like when your friends come over for school or something like that, you could do it. Or if you have like an after school program. Does your school have like an anime club or something like that? Just because, again, I'm thinking it's a more modern day type of thing. I didn't have anything like that. I just did sports all of my school years, but it would be cool to know if they were like, oh yeah, anime club is normal. Let's. Magic the Gathering Club is still crazy, Like I'm not super old, right? I'm basically 30. But even back in my day, if there was a Magic the Gathering club, they would have got picked on. They for sure would have got jumped, and some cards would have been ripped up and destroyed. Oh, a charter school. Well, good for your parents. Good for your parents for A, being able to afford a charter school, and B, sending you to one. I just went to old school, public school. But I think Knoll is the same, and Knoll ended up really smart. So finishing all that shit in 1 hour is crazy. What the fuck? Putting my productivity to shame. I mean, granted, I spent an hour talking about this fun stuff, so that's also part of it. Yeah, it's just gonna be. I guess as long as player 2 has X, no one's really gonna notice. It's not like this game is gonna be huge and like have thousands of players or something. Watch me say that, and then this is the first game that like blows. Anger spreads out the fucking dust, and a bunch of people play it. Had to step away. Ooh, MTG Club. I wish figured out. Oh no, I mean I haven't figured it out. I mean I have figured it out and I haven't. If I make the player 1 value -1, it repeats the very first letter. But if I make it 0, it doesn't repeat. But I think I figured it out just because I'm talking it out. That is the beauty of programming. This. Nope. God, what's that value? I just thought of it. No, it's the same value. My brother did Magic the Gathering, but somehow his giant pack of cards got stolen. Yeah. I mean, you're in a charter school, but I'm like in a private school. Even if you didn't, if you were in my public school where I grew up, people like I would consider friends wouldn't even be into that game and would have stolen it for sure. To either sell it or just like to be like fuck you nerd. Like that's just that's the nature of kids. But yeah. So yeah, the off by 1 error is when I make it -1, it doesn't solve for it for whatever reason. So I have to figure that out. Don't know why that is. Oh, not what I want. Up. Will be there. Where are you? Oh, that doesn't help me. Yeah, likely if is statement somewhere or loop check could also be an order in which you're doing things like you need to add one before the check. I'd have to look over it in detail. Yeah, it has to be in one of these things. Like, there's a reason it's looping, and I'm just being lazy. I was like, who cares? But it's like, have some coding integrity. Have some integrity in your logic that you're building out here. Like, this is art, but it's also a program. Like, I don't know. I have huge reverence for video games, so it's like, treat your game with respect. Figure out what the problem is. I think I'm so used to pushing out half-baked games in a good way and bad way. Good way because it's like sometimes you just need to finish a project and move on with your life. And bad way and like maybe I developed some bad habits of pushing things out way quicker than I should have, just because I was just sick of the problem. But I don't know. Time will tell if that was a good or bad decision. My school is just filled to the brim with kleptomaniacs. Oh yeah, I appreciate you preferencing it. Yeah, I'm 30. I know what a kleptomaniac is. As somebody that stole a lot when I was in high school, I'll tell you it comes from boredom, and also there is a level of I don't know, angst that you get as a teenager. I mean, some teenagers. I won't say, because again, I'm not the best example. I ran with a rough crowd, so I'm not the best example of anything. But yeah, me and my friends were all about that. Like, you know, going to the skating rink and fighting with another school. Like, so I think that there is certain a level of angst that happens because of socioeconomic conditions, meaning the lower your socioeconomic class, the more likely you are to be prone to bad behavior, because the less likely you are to be tended to in a caring and loving manner. Therefore, you interact with the world in a less than loving and caring manner, if that makes sense. Socioeconomic condition is largely an indicator of behavior. Anywho's, but yeah, my friend got $20 stolen within 10 minutes of him being gone. Jesus Christ, maybe not even 10 minutes. Yeah. It is not to say that socioeconomic conditions excuse behavior, right? You can still be in a bad place and be good. It's just, I would say it's easier to be bad when all of your friends are bad, right? Again, I'm also not the best example. I vividly remember texting my friends, going to the roller skating rink, flirting with girls, and then going and fighting guys in the parking lot, other kids in the parking lot. So I'm not a good example of, you know, don't do what any story I mention a username that's good from me back in the day, just, you know, blanketly don't do. I was not a good kid at all. I wouldn't let me hang out with my daughter, right? Like, I'm not a good kid. All right, where am I? Off by one error. Is player 2 still off? Let me see. Player 2 is still off.
No.
Yep, player 2 is off. Player 2 is corrected, but it's still off by one letter when we... Okay, so one thing at a time. We're going to look at player 1. When we update the player 1, if there are letters in the list, if there's letters in the list, then we take the current letter and we set it to the next letter in the list. So that's fine. I think that logic is still fine. And the counter is originally 0. So it's really the stop point. So we shouldn't say 13. We should say, oh wait, but that... Yeah, no, 13. I think that'll solve it for player 2. Yeah, that should solve it for player 2. There are a lot of things that I have trouble understanding of how people act, but if I were in school today, I'm sure I'd be labeled as neurodivergent. A lot of issues in school and social life. Yeah, same thing. I think I would be labeled that as well. I don't know. You know, kids have, for better or worse, they have all these labels, which can be helpful. It would be helpful. It would have been helpful to be like, hey, you're autistic. Like, that would have been helpful information for me. But also, I don't know, it's a double-edged sword, I think. Understanding the brain, but also having so many different labels for things, like, they can, like, limit you to... I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I'll stop there. But yeah, I don't... Human beings are weird. And with my adult brain, I would not have done any of the things I did when I was a kid. Well, most of the things I wouldn't have done. Actually, the more I think about it, I'm like, I was just being a stupid kid. And stupid kids do stupid things. But I guess the level of stupid things differ, right? Like, and no, I don't think you were in the parking lot of a skating rink fighting kids. But I was. The brain is weird in general. Yeah, it is weird in general. It is weird. So it's a mixed bag to address. Oh. error, so that's different. At least we get to the letter that we wanted, so that's one step forward. Now, what's the issue here? Invalid, a vector 2 on a null. So this is returning null. Current player 1 is returning null, and we established the value as one of the childs of this list. Okay, so that means, where are we? Here's the breakpoint. So when there's no more, so, or if there is no more letters, should be -2, because it's running as -1. So I guess if -2, if there are no more letters, is what I'm trying to say. There's no more letters, so equal to no, it can't be 0 because we have it set to -1 that produces all of these. So it has to be one less than that, one less error again. So if it's one less than that, then it would be this. And then in that case, when there are no more letters, at that point, then we should just call it. This should be a separate function, which is game over. Be a separate function. Call this p1 underscore game or over. We'll call this function expected condition. Yeah, I did state the condition. Oh, wait. There we go. P1. Okay. I think that solves it. Not saying that was right, not at all. Just that's how you were treated. Wait, I think I missed the part. When I was a kid, autistic could barely communicate. Otherwise, you were just weird, and why don't you act normal? I'm not saying that is right. Yeah, right. And I think that's largely it. I think, especially with my family, is very, I would say, neurotypical. Like, and I'm using verbology I barely know anything about, but I think my family is pretty neurotypical. So like when I interacted with them, they would very much be like, Jeff's weird. He's just a weird guy. I think it's because he's so smart. And I think I was just like, I'm just weird. Like, I don't think it's because I'm so smart. I think I'm just weird or artistic. But yeah, when I was introduced to the concept of autistic, it was like, to be autistic means you were mentally retarded, meaning like you could not, similar to what you were saying, you were nonverbal, or you were severely mentally disabled. That's how I grew up as autistic being. But then years later, after I separated from the mother of my child, I went to therapy and all that stuff, and they were like, "Oh yeah, hey, did you notice about yourself?" I'm like, "No," and it was like, "Well, your birthday is next week. Happy 29th birthday. Now you know a little bit more about yourself." I was like, I feel like I'm old to get this information, but all right. In my day and age, normal is basically a slur. I hate this generation. I hate this generation. Yeah, it must be so weird being a kid now. It must be so weird being a kid. I do not envy what my kiddo has in store for them in the future. Like, it just seems like such a weird time to be alive. You know, like when I remember when I was in school, cell phones were coming up. Like it was crazy and cool if you had a cell phone. Like, it was such a cool thing to know a friend with a cell phone. And then by the time I hit high school, it was more normal. Like, it was pretty normal. But you grew up with it always being normal, which is crazy. It was always treated as like this interesting new phenomenon. But then, it's your everyday. I'm not sure any generation is actually as all that much better than the others. Sometimes people my age will talk about how things used to be better, and some ways they were, in some ways, yeah, right, exactly. Like, um, overall, I think it's the best time to be alive. And I was talking to a kid, another kid, um, um, at one, I think it was around my kid's party. I was talking to like this 8-year old who I was talking about with anime and how accessible it was. And I was like, it's so cool that you guys don't have to wait a particular time to watch something. Like I had to be at my TV at 8 o'clock p.m. to watch the newest episode of something, or I missed it, and then everybody would talk about it in school, right? And that is like a cool phenomenon. You guys don't have to wait anymore, but I don't think you guys experience the same pleasure of us as a culture being like, well, I guess you kind of do because things release, but you can binge everything now. Like it was different to all be on the same page. Like when Breaking Bad was coming out, like every episode that came out, everybody in school would be talking about it. Like that same thing for Walking Dead. A new episode came out, everybody in school would be talking about it. But it's different now. But yeah, exactly. So I don't think there's any generation that's better or worse than the other ones. I think they're just all better in some ways and worse in others. Like this new generation, Gen Z and younger. I don't know if you're Gen Z, a username that's new. I think you're newer. You son of a bitch! You're gonna get out of here. You're gonna get out of here. Ban, bitch. Sorry. They're out of here. I'm on it. I figured again. What's her name? Noodle. Their name. Sorry. Noodle showed me some cool stuff, so now I can quickly get rid of those guys that are like, or those chatbots. Um, School is much weirder for me. I had a I had a job census. I think 5th grade. I'm a lot more mature than 90% of my kids. Yeah, and that also sucks to be uh, around that. I think there is such um, like a pleasure in being ignorant. Like that's a lot of the enjoyment of I remember of being a kid is being too dumb, if you will, to not realize how stupid I was being. Like I really that was smart. Like I love that. Like um, how I crashed my first car was um, and this sounds cooler than it is, but my girlfriend at the time, climbed on top of me while I was driving and we were making out, and I crashed the car. Like it sounds crazy, but like it was also like a fun, like that as a parent. I'm like, what the fuck? You could have died. But as a kid, it's just like, ha ha ha, a funny adventure. But the more mature you are, I think the less risk that you take because you're not stupid. Like you understand the consequences that could lead from these actions. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Again, being painfully aware of the consequences and the math of every situation doesn't sound fun. And I was mature for my age, but not in a good way. You know, not in a good way. When I was in my early teens, like 13, I think, but those were small jobs, totally illegal. But wanted the money to buy Chrono Trigger. Respect. What a great game to be like, I'm saving up for this. Chrono Trigger is that's so cool. That's such a beautiful core memory. I love that. Um, but yeah, that's awesome. Um, but yeah, Chrono Trigger. But yeah, I'm sure it's again weirder, especially again being more of an intellectual. You're gonna have a harder time. Um, Again, I was more of an intellectual, but I was also around a lot of dumb people. And it's not to say that sports people are dumb, but if you measure the sports population, people that do sports all year round, which I was one of those people, and people that don't do sports all year round, who's smarter? I think I think the sports people were just dumber, but because we were dumber, we were also more fun. Like I think that anyway. But again, I was a reckless kid, and I have a bunch of reckless stories. Um, that I may tell one other day. I mean, you got one with me crashing uh, one of my dad's car uh, from making out while driving, which is so dumb. Like I don't. What the was I thinking? Oh, I wasn't thinking. I was just concerned with the woman, girl, as we were kids. Um, I think the only reason I worked at that age is because I wanted to be cool and say I worked at 9 to 5, not knowing what 9 to 5 meant. Isn't that classic? That's classic. Um, that's classic kid is wanting something before you understand the gravity of it. Like I want a 9 to 5, and no idea what a 9 to 5 is. I remember wanting acne when I was a kid. I remember when I was a kid, I would wash my face. I started washing my face with what was it? I forgot. They had commercials all the time growing up. It was like I don't know. They had a bunch of celebrities. Proactive. Yeah, they had. I remember buying Proactive, and then my sister being like, "Why do you have Proactive? You don't have acne." And I'm like, "Well, one day I will. Like, I could totally have acne." And it's like, "You don't want acne, man. Just like you don't want a 9 to 5. Like, you don't want this stuff. Growing up sucks, man. Stop. Chill out." Actually, don't think Chrono Trigger was out yet. Not that that was just a joke of a kind that need more money. Well, still money for games and hobbies and stuff. Family was broke. Same. I purchased every game console I ever owned. Same. But I was also I my family would give money for Christmas, and rather than spending it responsibly, I gathered up all the money. I would save like for months leading up to Christmas, and then my family would give me a bunch of money for Christmas, and then with that I would get the newest console, and then with whatever money I have, buy a game with it, and I would just have like a brand new console in one game. So yeah, I relate to that. Save my OG Game Boy, which my grandparents got for me. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Yeah, back when GameStop was GameStop, I traded in every single console I've ever owned, and to get a new console. Even my PlayStation 5. I think maybe the last console I ever get. Um, Maybe the Steam Deck I'll get, but I think that's gonna be the last console I ever get. Um, and I traded in my PlayStation 4 for it. It was a PlayStation 4. I'll show you real quick. PlayStation 4. It was this beautiful PlayStation, honestly. Um, like the controller was super awesome for it, and the cover for the console was awesome. It looked incredible. Not that one. Wasn't that one? Yep, this one. Oh wow, going for a pretty penny. Well, this is eBay, but yeah, this was the console I had, and that same controller. Yeah. Now that I'm looking back at it, I really wish I would have kept it. It's one of those like collector item type things. Like this looks amazing. But yeah, I had this one. And I sold it to get the PlayStation 5. Which again, looking at it, why did I do that? This looks beautiful because the PlayStation 5 was at the time during COVID unbelievably hard to get and so expensive. I don't even remember how $600, something like that. Crazy, but look at it. It's a beautiful console. And then you look at the PlayStation 5 now, and it's like it looks stupid. I love that the chat was never more popular than when I was just ragging on PlayStation, PlayStation skins. I got most. I got most of my system used it wasn't until I was out of school, I worked full time, that I actually got a new system. I think was the GameCube. Yeah, I've never. No, I always bought a new system via my old one. I remember when I was very young, everyone had 3DS. Oof, that hurts. Just you saying when I was very young, we had 3DSs. I was like, I was in high school, man. Shut up. um, and I wanted one so bad. However, I never got one because I was too lazy to work for it. I mean, back then you were too lazy to work for it. Now you're working for video games, and you're still young, so you just didn't work at it like I don't know. And Noel's age at like 5. How old are you at Noel? I know you said it in the chat. You were. Let's scroll past it. We're at milligrams. Working 9 to 5. Early teens, 13. Okay, so you guys started working around the same age, actually. And Nolan, a username. Started the music, not realizing I had to go back to here. Okay, so that works. I think there was something. I don't know if I fixed the error. I'm just happy the animation is working and it looks pretty good. That L is off, but not a big deal. Okay. And what's wrong here? Null. Why is this returning null? Oh, because it's trying to set the next position. But if it's then we have to change this value. Maybe it shouldn't be -1. Maybe it should be 0. It's so funny that you introduced this concept in null, and that seems to be the entire problem of this session is everything is off by 1. When did I start working for a paycheck? Yeah, I was 13. I say check. It was cash. Well, like you said, you were working and it was illegal. Your first job was 13. My first job was 16, and it was at Dairy Queen. For $7.25 an hour, and most of that money was gobbled up by gas, because I worked in the middle of nowhere, or I lived in the middle of nowhere, so it took half an hour, 25 minutes to 30 minutes to get to my job, and then down and back was like all of the gas money. So I would spend like half of my paycheck just paying for gas, and the other half would actually be for me. But again, you both started working way earlier. A username that's null for a silly kid-like reason of like, I want a 9 to 5. Off by 1 error. As far as I know, it's the most common logic errors. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I love when somebody will introduce something and then you start to see it everywhere. I think that's referred to as the rectal activating system of your brain. Once you become aware of something, your brain is now honed to no longer ignore it, if that makes sense. Give me 1 second, guys. What time is it? Oh wow, it's almost 11. I really thought this was going to be a short stream today, but it looks like it's almost a full session. But give me 1 second. I'll be right back. It's for what I don't know who's knocking at my door at 11 o'clock at night. That's insane. But 1 second. Or I don't get murdered. You know what? I'll keep the camera up in case I get murdered. Get cool views from it. Hey. It's just the people collecting garbage outside my door. I was like, who's knocking at 11 o'clock at night? That's the most insane thing in the world. I'm not dating anymore. There's no way. All right. So that is returning null, and that's returning null. But I did change the value, so that should resolve it. Correct. That's correct. That's correct. I have to find time to work on this game also off stream, so I could like heavily focus. I mean, I love talking to you guys, so I have no regrets, but also I could make more progress. At least I say that, but maybe I would get equally distracted. Yeah, this is still returning null. This is returning null, but this should only happen at this point. If it's 0, but if right, so if it's -1, because again, off by 1, therefore off by 1. So I think this should resolve it. Thank God I like readjusted the value so I could quickly playtest this. Still null. Still null. So the heck? Still null. Well, that is very easy to get the logic wrong on how many times you should loop through something. Then it's sometimes made worse by arrays starting at 0 exactly, which is where we're at. And people like to think that counting at 1. Well, yeah, that took forever for me to conceptualize. Is that 0 is technically the start of something, and like the logic of that makes perfect sense from just a mathematics standpoint. 1 only exists because of 0. Like you start counting at 0. It is 0, 1, 2, 3. That is the pivot point, because otherwise it's -1, +1. So that makes total sense, but it also takes some getting used to, I think. Being like the first item in an array is 0, and then the second item in an array is technically 1, even though that's the second 1. If that makes sense. My cousin sent me a video yesterday at like 2 a.m. of him playing Pokemon Red. I heard a notification. I don't know if somebody followed. If somebody did, I greatly appreciate it. I have no idea what happened. I think I heard a notification, but I didn't see anything on my screen. What do you expect to see on a coding profile site? I don't know what to add to mine. Feels like a resume. A coding profile site or portfolio site. I think null. I think you would be better able to answer this, but for me, when I was concerned about that, I'm fortunate enough that I don't have to concern myself with that anymore. I just get hired out from consulting companies from gig to gig. But when I did, I wonder if I still have it. Hold on. I'm going to take this off screen in case it's embarrassing. Give me 1 second. No, I don't. When I did, as far as a portfolio, I would put. I know I started it similar to like. I'm gonna give a rough thing here, but I do think that Endo will probably be able to give a better answer than me. Ignore this. This is Lua code from Hades. Oh, it says it right here. Yeah. I was just trying to modify a couple of different things. Anyway. It is kind of may help to point to projects that you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was like name, and then whoever I was primarily trying to attract. Like if it was a game development studio, I would put a game project, and then like I wrote like the headlines of it, like written in C sharp, used Unity engine, like customized plugin that brought blah blah blah. Like I would give a brief summary and then I would give a story about it of like how the project came about, what did I learn, what did I learn in the project, what did I do in the project, and what will I do in future projects. And I did that same thing for video game projects or whatever I was trying to attract. So how I got my current gig as an automation engineer is that um, I forgot what type of automation it was, but I showcased one of the in my game I needed to automate something. And this is a game I took down a while ago, but I showcased that. I showcased whatever it was about. I gave the main headlines about it, and then I'd tell a story about it that was appealing to whomever wanted to look at it. So I would say again, what did I learn? What did I do? And what I will do in the future because I had this experience, and that's how I went about it when I did that. Um, so rather than like treating it straight up like a resume, I treated it as in like, here's my project, and then like essentially telling a story of like projects I worked on, what I learned, but like yeah, telling a story is really it. And then of course like just for the people that care about it, yeah, okay, so they have Unity experience, they know C sharp, they know how to incorporate plugins and then also customize it, customize like an existing code base, things like that. Um, I think that what I believe is common early on. Later, it's more what you've worked on before because it's likely you can't directly talk about things you've done. Yeah, and that's the case for me at where I'm at now. Like NDAs or working with a consulting company, you're not allowed to talk about other clients, so it's very expected. It's just then you start to talk about it in abstract of like these are the type of automations we set up. We scan the server, blah 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 blah. Can't share out. So yeah, you can't share code from companies. Yeah, so yeah, I have to. Yeah, I have to show off the kind of things you've done. Yeah, exactly. That's really it. And I wouldn't treat it really as a resume type of thing. I'd really treat it as telling a story. At least that's what I did. I just told a story of, hey, this is me. Here are the projects I worked on. Here's the quick synopsis of the projects I worked on. And then telling a story of like, at first, and then finally, and because of X, I did X, and I learned X, and will do X in the future. So yeah, I don't know if you're familiar, Aaron, with I don't know if you're familiar with Star Trek, but I really treat it as like Captain's Log, and I would just talk about a project like that. That helped me with my career, because I similarly, well, I don't know if similarly, but I don't come from a coding background. I did not go to college for it. I did not learn it in any formal education. I just learned it on my own, and the only reason I was hired for it was because a partial lie on my interview on my CV, and my coding experience. The lie was I said I was a technical project manager, and technically I was a project manager is how I swung that, because technically I am, but I wasn't really a project manager. But I swung it. I swung it and I got it. I hope that helps, Aaron. If you're still here. I don't know if Aaron left during that explanation. I hope it was a good explanation. Mildly annoyed at that. It is weird to ask a question and then promptly leave. I will say that. I will say that. But hey, you know what? The way I'm gonna look at it is that again, it's so weird to ask that question and then leave. I think they also followed. Maybe they did that just so they can get like recognized in the chat, and then they did. Well, I still don't. Either way, then why would you ask the question? I don't know. I'll make a clip in case Aaron comes back to my profile. I'll make a clip of this, excluding this part, to get that to them. It is weird that you would ask a question and then leave, but I don't know. Maybe your phone died. I don't know what the situation was. It is weird. It is honestly weird that you would do that. That's such a weird thing to do. Yeah, again, it's super odd. That's the only logical explanation I can think of is that you're watching it on your phone and your phone died. Or you're watching it on your desktop and you had a blackout. That's the only logical explanation. Why would you ask a genuinely good question and then leave? Like that's so weird. But I'll make a clip because again, maybe it could be useful to somebody else. I have to get better at clipping and making content as well, so I'll make that a practice. I'm supposed to set aside an hour and a half every day to create content, but I rarely do. All right, how many people do we have? We got Endol and I think a username that's good, and it hit 11. So I'm gonna end the stream here. There will be nobody that we raid because there's so few people, but yep, still here, and I appreciate you being here, man. Our kid, saying kid feels derogatory. I'm gonna say man. I appreciate both of you guys being here. So yeah, there's not a whole lot of people today, so we're not gonna raid anyone. We're just gonna head out, and then the next stream, actually, let me look, because I don't know what the next, we now have, I don't know if you guys saw, but we now have scheduled days where we're gonna work on different stuff. And I'm trying to figure out what people like. So tomorrow, where the hell is my schedule? That is somewhere. Creator dashboard? Okay, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. But tomorrow I think tomorrow we're either, God, I wish I had my thing. I wish I could see my thing. I don't remember what it was. Tomorrow we're doing something different. It's the long and short of it. Tomorrow we're gonna do something different. I think we're gonna work either on Kill Toy or we're gonna, yeah, I'm pretty sure tomorrow we're gonna work on Kill Toy. And then on Thursday we're gonna play a game, an indie game of some kind. Oh, actually, on Thursday, I think what we're gonna play is Undertale, because I never played Undertale. It's from a great indie developer. It's a well-known game that everybody loves. You know, praise be to Brothers and the Emperor. That's a Warhammer reference. Undertale is something different. I just got distracted. But yeah. So it is a good game. Yeah, I've never played it. I've always heard it's a good game. It's one of those games that's like everybody talks about. And I think we talked about it in our last stream. Undertale is a great game. Yeah, well, great. So I'm happy to experience it at like almost 30 years old. And I'll be experiencing it for the first time with you guys, which I'm super excited about. Since it sounds like both of you guys have played it, so I'll be able to lean on you guys and be like, what? Like, what the fuck just happened? Who are they? So that'll be really cool. And that's Thursday. And then again, I think tomorrow we're gonna work on Project Kill Toy. So I will see you guys then. Again, a username that's good. And Noel, thank you guys always for being here. I really appreciate it. quickly spoil it. Quickly spoil it. Spoil it now. Don't do it, you son of a bitch. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow at around 8 p.m. 8 to 8:30. The only reason there's some time difference is because it depends on my kiddo going to sleep. So 8 to 8:30. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night, guys. Again, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Love talking to you. See ya.